I'm Andy Beningo, and I'm a stand-up comedian. I've been to some pretty cool places, and have worked with some pretty cool people. This is my life on the road. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of On the Road with Andy Beningo. And this week I'm traveling to one of my favorite cities in all of America. It's Bangor, Maine. Absolutely love it here in Bangor. The weather is freezing. It's very picturesque here. One thing I love about Mainers is that they don't use the letter R. Car becomes ka. Bar becomes ba. Cat becomes, well, it's still cat. You want to go for some lobster? Everything in Maine is wicked. That car is wicked awesome. Bangor, Maine is one of the most unique cities in America in that there are only about 5 airports in the entire country that have connections into town. It's wicked hard to get there. Bangor, Maine has a lot of friendly people and a lot of cool sights to see around town, including a giant Paul Bunyan statue at the center of town, and one of the scariest houses I've ever seen in my entire life. This place is creepy, man. It's like Stephen King lives here or something. Restaurants like the High Tide are always packed with customers looking to get good seafood and enjoy great scenery.
This lobster roll is wicked awesome.
But how exactly is all this great seafood caught?
About an hour east from Bangor, Maine is one of the most beautiful places in the entire world. It's Bar Harbor, or Bar Harbor.
I drove out to Bar Harbor to see firsthand how Maine's fishing industry actually worked. Fishermen will put some bait into a cage, known as a pod, and then throw it into the ocean. They will mark the pods and let them sit in the sea for a few days. The lobsters will smell the bait and climb into the pods, and eventually will get stuck. A few days later, the fishermen will pull the pods out of the water and have lobsters in the cages. After measuring them to make sure they are legal length, they are tossed into a tank and eventually eaten by you. Maine continues to set records in the lobster industry and caught a record 131 million pounds of lobster last year. In fact, the industry is so successful in Maine that almost 90% of the lobsters that were caught in the North Atlantic were brought ashore in Maine. These rough waves are starting to make me sick. Ooh, I feel like I'm going to lose my chowder. I guess we all can't be lobster fishermen. After a quick boat ride back to shore, I took a drive up the scenic mountainside of Bar Harbor and into Acadia Park. Acadia Park is a 47,000-acre recreational park that has some of the most scenic views in the entire world. Despite the beautiful scenery, visitors need to be aware of some of the vicious animals that live in the park, including the black bear, eagles, and red squirrels. Despite the warnings of the red squirrels, Acadia Park still manages to attract over 3 million visitors every year. I was sad to leave Acadia Park, but still had to drive back to Bangor, Maine to prepare for my show at Cross Point Church. I was excited that the show sold out, mostly because the show is a benefit for the Shepherd Godparent Home. The Godparent Home is a crisis center that houses young women in their teens to their 30s who are pregnant and in crisis. Nikki's Hope is a program for new mothers that gives them the opportunity to develop parenting skills and mature their faith while residing in the program's apartment. It's a great cause, and I was honored to be their comedian for the event. And it was great to see that the great community of Bangor came out to support such a wonderful cause.
If you enjoyed this week's episode, make sure you click the subscribe button to watch upcoming episodes of On the Road with Andy Beningo. As a reminder, no actual lobsters were harmed during the filming of this web series. The Whale Watching Co. is actually a demonstration tour, so all the lobsters that were caught were eventually released back into the sea. Make sure you go to barharborwhales.com if you're ever in Bar Harbor and you want to go on a whale watching tour, or a seal tour, or a lobster fishing tour. To learn more about this week's show, go to godparenthomeme.com, and please make sure you don't